Hi, everybody. I just finished editing the last episode for season 1 of Breakthroughs. And I wanted to share a little bit of my thoughts or experience during these interviews and what I've learned, and also give you a little bit of an insight into where are we going during this season. So first of all, welcome to Data Breakthroughs. I'm Lior Barak, and I will be your host for the rest of the season, bringing the collaboration approach. The host and the guest are collaborating together on finding the right solution. Rather than somebody coming and telling me a story and I'm asking a question about it, we're trying to solve a real problem that was submitted by one of the followers of the podcast. And we don't talk about the snowflake correct or not correct solution for our company size. Here is an example from one of the episodes.
Because we do sometimes hackathons, so like on 2 days kind of things, but it's really hard to like drive for more innovation. People sometimes really in the mode of like delivering and focusing on things they want to do. I mean, which is also a challenge, right? Like, but I think it gives us some fresh perspective as well too.
Let me go back to the clarity statement that we had. How to showcase the value of the data team. Do you feel that by this we managed to arrive to a breakthrough?
I think we did with the information we had, some assumptions we had to take, right? We don't really know all of the context. That is clear. But I mean, it seems like you can get out of those like paralysis, right? There's multiple ways you can try to achieve that, in my opinion.
Rather, people will need to use it here. I think this is the most important insight to take out of it.
Yeah. I think after all, we have to run a business, right? And like it's often not, it's about practical implementation. It's about delivering value quickly because business is impatient. And we need to take this into account. And everybody wants to move with the higher speed, and that's the reality we are in, right? If you're not able to show this value quickly in whatever data, software engineering, whatnot, I mean, you're losing a lot on competitiveness edge, on insights and everything else. Then you can deliver value to the customers, and this is important for people to actually understand as being part of that business.
I want to tell you why this podcast exists first. I've been a guest in many podcasts, and I was on stage many times talking about things that I was the domain owner of it, and I brought it forward in a very certain way of telling a story. But I always walked away feeling like something was missing, not from the hosts nor the format, my own contribution and the way that I was telling a story. Here is the thing about myself. People say that I'm sometimes too pragmatic in the way that I'm thinking about a solution. Sometimes people think that it's a strength. Sometimes they're saying it's a limitation. And I agree with them. It's serving both as a skill to be able to look pragmatically about a problem, and also sometimes it's limiting us. I'm not completely pragmatic about let's just do it and see what happens, but rather let's figure out how things going to go forward. And one of the things that I realized in many interviews of podcast is that we discuss about a tool we implemented. We discuss about a solution that we created, but is it actually something that caused us to stop for a few minutes and understand why we actually did it or why we are doing it? And this is how this podcast was born, because what I wanted to do was to learn how other people think through problems they've never seen before and how do they approach challenges. At that strategic altitude, really, when we're talking about it, what is the process? What is the way of thinking of people? And I wanted to really learn it. And this is why I created this podcast in this specific format. And I think that during the season, you're going to hear a lot of interesting conversations, a lot of interesting brainstorming, and a lot of the cases you're going to say, there is here a synergy. One was thinking about this direction or this side, and other ones were thinking another side. And I think that this is the core principle of this broadcast. We don't talk about is snowflake correct or not correct solution for our company size, or is it right to use Python or R or so on. We actually focusing on the principles, on the capabilities, on the way of solving a problem or approaching the solution for the problem. But first of all, we're taking in time to actually understand the problem space. And I think that this is something that is missing quite often. And this is what I'm trying to bring on. I hope you're going to enjoy the season. I'm going to see you afterwards. We have between 10 to 11 episodes that are going to be released in cycles of every second week. A new episode is going to be released. Today, we dropped 2 together. And I hope to hear you and see you and maybe even joining me in future sessions. Until then, enjoy your listening. And I will love to hear your comments. So feel free to tag on LinkedIn, in the Substack Cooking Data, or even just writing a direct message if you're interested in. And I will love to talk about more about the problems, the solutions, and maybe how we can help you to solve your problem in the future. Until then, I will see you. Ciao, ciao.